London's Metropolitan Police have a reputation for being among the toughest cops in the country. And the cops in Hammersmith and Fulham are no exception. Their West London patch is a battleground for a war on crime, and they're winning.
On the floor now!
Their zero-tolerance approach
any more playing up and you're going straight back on the floor.
Has left drug dealers, robbers, and street gangs with nowhere to hide.
We're here to protect the public, and that's why they're all out there actively, competitively hunting criminals.
This lot over here all need nicking for a fray.
Foxtrot Tail 315, male detained.
Tonight on Brit Cops Zero Tolerance, drug dealers get rudely awakened. A shoplifter feels the full force of the law, and street dealers get pounced on.
That's a deal if I ever saw one.
Stop there.
It's 6 a.m. on a back street in West London. The Metropolitan Police Territorial Support Group and the Hammersmith and Fulham Drug Squad are teaming up to raid a suspected drug dealer while he's sleeping.
As soon as we identify a crack house, we will put every resource in to target those premises. We will get them out. Guys that are behind the door are often high on drugs, unpredictable, volatile, so we need to go equipped.
Inside, the team find the suspect and his girlfriend taken completely by surprise.
Everyone will be spoken to individually by the officers that can conduct a search for the stand.
The search team quickly find a stash of drugs, exactly what they were looking for. And just behind the front door, they find a baseball bat and a 12-inch knife.
James, want to space for outside, please, mate? Switch on upstairs!
These potential weapons are taken away by the police. They are all evidence.
We had information that the guy had access to weapons. We overpowered him. He didn't have a chance to respond. Had we not got in there quickly, he could have responded by arming himself with one of those weapons.
For the drug squad and its skipper, DS Simon Rogers, it's a result.
Cursory search of the flat led to the recovery of Class A drugs, digital weighing scales, a smaller quantity of cash, and some items that we've linked into a burglary already. He was in there with his girlfriend. They've both been arrested on suspicion of being involved in the supply of Class A drugs and handling stolen goods.
This suspected drug dealer is taken back to the police station for questioning.
Drug dealers on this borough are a massive problem. They're absolute scum, to be quite honest.
Sure, what we've got in here is we've got two crack pipes. These mini spirits bottles they use for smoking crack. And we've got two spoons, one of them which I can show you has got residue on it.
Drugs raids like this are the high-impact end of the drug squad's work. Hammersmith and Fulham Borough have one of the most active drug squads in the Met.
They're constantly out, closing down crack houses, raiding drug dealers. We know from long experience that people who use crack cocaine, heroin and crystal meths need to commit crime and victimise people to pay for that. So one of our main efforts here is to make sure we take out the drug dealers who deal in crack and heroin. That's why this borough, we believe, closes more crack houses than any other borough in the United Kingdom.
The drug squad are just one of the high-caliber units at Borough Commander Hurley's disposal. These units are made up of some of the toughest police officers in Britain, and they have to be, because Hammersmith and Fulham is one of the most challenging boroughs to police. Densely populated and hugely diverse, In this area, immense wealth sits alongside unemployment, poverty, drug addiction, and all the crime that goes with it. The Robbery Squad are another of West London's elite crime-fighting units. They're plain-clothes officers who use unmarked cars, and they're regarded as the hard men of the Met.
Working on Street Robbery Squad is not the work of shrinking violence. It needs robust, positive police officers who've both got physical and moral courage. It's hard and it can be uncompromising. Indeed, we are uncompromising, and there can be some violence involved in what they do. Frankly, they do what the public want. They get stuck in. When all said and done, they're here to protect the public from the very worst that one finds out there.
And the full force of the law doesn't end there. On the front line are the Rapid Response Units. Uniformed and in marked cars, they are known simply as Team.
Responding to these calls, quite often their adrenaline will be pumping. They'll be thinking, what are we going into? There'll be colleagues calling for help. So when they arrive, they are already fairly charged up sometimes to deal with these incidents. The fact is, if you're dealing with a violent person in the street, you need to be robust and you need to be positive and use force on them sometimes, because actually you're not paid as a cop to be hurt. You're paid to come home in one piece and paid to remain in a fit state to go on and rescue the next member of the public.
PC's Martin Warnes and Vicky Pilling in Rapid Response Unit Foxtrot 2 are on the hunt for a gang of men allegedly seen taking part in a street fight. According to witnesses, they fled the scene in a car, sped past one police unit and are now on the run.
It looks as though there's been a fight and a vehicle's made off from it.
This car has allegedly failed to stop for police, and now news is coming over the radio that the occupants may be armed.
Having spoken, other officers are at the scene of the fight, and having spoken to some of the other people there, this guy has got a knife, or I believe the people in the car may have a knife.
PC Warnes knows where the car was last seen and the direction it was travelling. The plan is to head it off.
Right, Hammersmith Road to Brook Green.
In the traffic up ahead, the car is coming straight towards them. PC Warnes turns off the siren. He doesn't want to scare them into running again.
It's an Audi Q7. It's just the license plate. It's there.
Yeah.
Warnes pulls over. He takes his seatbelt off so he's ready for action.
FH Foxtrot 2.
The suspect car is heading straight towards him.
Shepherd's Bush Road.
Coming up, it's zero tolerance in the war against drugs, with the Robbery Squad taking on street dealers.
Yeah, Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. Yeah, certainly.
Specialist drugs dogs sniff out users.
Okay, no problem.
And PC Warnes springs into action.
On the floor! On the floor!
PC's Warnes and Pilling have spotted the Audi Q7 allegedly seen fleeing from the scene of a fight. It's stuck in heavy traffic edging towards them. The officers are waiting quietly on the opposite side of the road.
FH Foxtrot 2. Shepherd's Bush Road, we've got a black Q7 coming towards us, and we just have another unit towards to identify it.
The occupants are potentially armed, so PC Warnes is going to have to carry out a surprise attack. These cops need backup now. A situation where police were outnumbered is now completely under control. Now PC Warnes needs to make sense of what's happened and find out if the occupants of the car do have weapons on them.
the long bit.
With all the suspects restrained, a thorough search of the vehicle can now begin.
It's being made.
The search of the car immediately turns up possible evidence.
We've searched it. We found these planks of wood that have been inside the vehicle. Obviously, one of the persons as well been searched, and this piece of glass was found in his pocket. The gentleman for this has been arrested for off-web, and we're just establishing now with the victim whether these planks of wood have been used, and then we'll take it from there. But we're just waiting for officers to get back to us on that.
Fights and violent assaults involving weapons are a growing problem on the streets of London. Knife crime is at the top of the agenda for Hammersmith and Fulham Borough, but on these inner-city streets, police see every type of crime imaginable.
You get the full range of offences here, from street robberies through burglaries to murders to sexual offences. The good thing is here, year on year, we've seen a real huge reduction in burglary, street robbery, assaults, motor vehicle crime and so on, partly because we've got a very positive and, dare I say, robust approach to how we go after the offenders. Our main emphasis here is actually to put the fear on the criminals. So we employ several plainclothes teams of people here, got a big plainclothes robbery squad, 30 strong, they all work in plainclothes, in scruffy gear, big burglary squad, big motor vehicle crime squad, big drug squad, and their job is literally to go out, persecute, pick on, catch the criminals and put them in prison for as long as we possibly can.
And Detective Chief Superintendent Hurley likes to lead his force from the front.
I go out on the street 3 or 4 times a week. I'd like to say I do it because it's good for leadership. Actually, I go out because I like arresting people. There's no greater buzz than putting handcuffs on someone who needs them on them and they don't like it because they're a baddie.
The Robbery Squad are in the front line in the war on crime. PCs Ford and Gardner are out patrolling the streets of Hammersmith and Fulham. They spot a man they think is behaving suspiciously.
There he is, he's walked down there. Yeah, we're going to turn this fellow over.
Still waiting for my bus.
You're not waiting for your bus, though, are you? You've started off up there.
Started up there.
Round the corner.
Yeah.
You've walked down here. Okay, you've been hanging around this area for over half an hour.
Right.
Whenever we see them on the street, if there's grounds to do so, obviously, we make sure we get our hands in their pockets, turn them over. And the reason we're doing that is to make it very difficult for them to have any weapons on them, have any contraband on them they shouldn't have, and just make it very difficult for them to carry out their criminal activities, because you don't want these people to have an easy ride. If they're going to be out there committing crimes, part of our job is to make it as hard as possible for them to do that.
Tell me now if you've got any cannabis on you.
I've not got no cannabis.
Okay, keep your hands away from your pockets, I'm going to search you.
All I've got is some money when I'm told to cash out.
Keep your hands out of your pockets. Sorry?
Easy. Jesus.
Hold on to that, will you? Do you know exactly how much?
Yeah, because I cashed it out from the post office.
Where did you, have you got a receipt?
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
Where's your receipt? Get your receipt.
Right, keep your hands up, mate. Hand up.
Go on, get your receipt out. Get your receipt out.
Yeah, if you let me have a chance.
Get your receipt out then, go on.
both times.
PC Ford checks around the corner to search for discarded drugs.
Thought we might have dropped it because he'd seen us. He'd had quite a long time to get rid of it because it took forever to turn round, what have you. But he's definitely dealing, definitely. Right, mate. I know exactly what you've been up to. You're dealing, mate.
Dealing?
Yeah. Where'd you get that money from?
It's my mum's money.
Your mum's money? Where's your receipt?
The receipt, I lost it. I got it from the post office.
Listen, mate. You're lying to me. I know you're lying to me, but that's fine. Listen, mate, that's fine, because I can't prove anything. But I'll tell you what I do know, I know your face, and I'm going to be looking out for you now. Every single day, when I see you up here, I know exactly what you're doing. All right?
When I get accused of things, I
don't act all indignant. Don't act all indignant and upset that I've taken the jam out of your donut, because I know for a fact what you were doing. I know you were doing it, mate, okay? And it's no problem. okay? Because I'm round here all the time.
Huh?
I'm round here all the time. And I'm sure you'll be round here all the time. I'm sure professionally we're going to come into contact.
You're going to arrest me for something I haven't done.
We don't arrest people for stuff they haven't done, mate. Only arrest people for stuff they have done. All right? Right. Have a nice day. We will be looking out for you, mate.
The Robbery Squad searches are all part of the war the police are waging on all fronts against illegal drug use. This zero-tolerance approach can be seen all over this borough. Today, police are using specially trained sniffer dogs to bust drug users at tube stations.
We've got 2 passage drug stops with us. You can see we've got one working here, it's called Henry, and he's trained to indicate on people if he gets the scent of drugs or illegal substances on the person. So he will scan the area around the person, and if he detects the smell of either an A, B or C class drug, he will indicate to his handler, who will then take hold of the person and they'll be taken away and searched by one of the local officers.
No, they just come past the dog, he won't hurt you, he's very friendly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Fine, mate, just come past the dog for us. That's great, thank you very much. No, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
We get all sorts of reactions. We get people who are scared of dogs, and obviously over the years you get to learn what different reactions are. We also get people who see the dog and they will do an abnormal reaction to what they see in front of them, whereby they might turn around, they might try and walk past the dog or avoid the dog. In that case, we have plainclothes officers who will take that person, take control of them, and they will take them away for a search as well.
The old skinhead bloke there just did a rob.
Drugs dog, he's indicating you got some drugs on you. Yeah, and you tried to avoid me as well.
You got any drugs on you, mate?
Drugs. Hash, cannabis.
Can I speak to these colleagues here? They're going to search you, okay?
I don't understand.
Okay, well, they'll explain it to you. Don't worry, it's no problem. Just go with these colleagues. Keep your hands where we can see them and you'll be okay. Okay, well, they'll explain it all to you then. They're very good. He's claiming that he doesn't understand, doesn't speak English, although probably when he's searched we will realise he does understand what's going on. But whatever, it'll be explained to him what's happening and he's going to be searched, and I would imagine he probably has got something on him, but we'll find out in due course. Okay. Stop there for a drug stop. Do you have any drugs on you at all?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay, just keep your hands up. What have you got on you?
No.
Okay, no problem.
Well, the dog says you have, so you have a word with my officer there.
Just keep your hands where we can see him, all right, mate? Just go with my colleagues here.
Yeah, thank you.
Drug searches like this at tube and train stations are proving a great success. It's a high-profile warning to the public that the police are cracking down on drugs. Having released the suspected dealer, PC Ford of the Robbery Squad is disappointed not to have made an arrest.
That, through my experience, is the behaviour that drug dealers often, use. So I searched it under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, and we found the money. That's a deal if I ever saw one.
Ford has suddenly spotted a suspicious exchange between a man on a bicycle and a younger man on foot.
Police, get off.
While PC Ford searches the cyclist, his partner, PC Gardner, has the suspected dealer in cuffs within seconds.
As we drove past, nothing was adding up at all about what was happening. There was this very, very young black guy, and then there was this very, very old, wizened white guy who just looked. You get a feeling for who takes drugs and who doesn't take drugs. And he had the heroin addict thinness. It just didn't look right. They didn't look like they were mates. And something was seen to pass between them. And I knew what it was straight away, and so did my colleague.
PC Ford tries to prise information out of the cyclist.
You're not going to get in trouble. All I want to know, is he a dealer? Don't know. I'm new to this place, all right? I don't know this ground. I want to know it. I want to know the scumbags. Anytime you want to let me know who one of them is, so I can maybe put a job together on one of them. One of the ones that's maybe over in the past. If ever want to have a chat with me, come and see me, all right? All right. I'll be about. All right, mate?
Just ask, because quite often addicts are the people who hate drug dealers the most. To settle a score maybe, or there might be some issue that he's having with a drug dealer, they may want to tell us something.
After his chat with the cyclist, Ford lets him go.
Classic drug dealing.
I'll tell you what, you dealers, mate. I know exactly what you've been doing. We know exactly what you've been doing.
I'll tell you the truth, boss.
Don't tell me, because you're just going to lie to me. And I don't want to be lied to, so just be quiet.
But PC Gardner is convinced he saw the suspect throw something to the ground, and he won't give up until he's searched the area thoroughly. If they can just find one wrap of drugs, they'll be able to make an arrest.
That's our drugs. When we stopped him there, he's come and run round here, and he's then running for us. He's basically seemed to drop something. I don't know what it was at the time. He's recovered these 3 wraps. It's quite clearly Class A drugs.
With possible drugs found, it's bad luck for this suspected dealer that the robbery squad happened to be passing.
I believe you dropped something, okay? Listen, you can't get caught, okay? You're under arrest. Suspicion of possession of Class A drugs and intent to supply. Okay, I believe this is drugs. I believe what we saw just then was you dealing in drugs. And I'm pretty sure I saw you dropped them when we came around the front of that car. Listen.
Hey,
doesn't change anything. You're still under arrest. Okay, you don't have to say anything. There may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which later on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. But okay, if you agree with it, do you understand that? You often see a young 17-year-old black lad with a tall, crackhead white bloke in his mid-40s on a bike exchanging something in the middle of the street, you know. Something about it just doesn't look right.
At Shepherd's Bush Station, the Sniffer dog team are adding up the day's takings.
2 and 1 positive.
2 searches, 1 positive.
We had 5 searches, 3 positive.
I think it's fairly successful. We've been here for probably, 3 hours, and I think they've done 45 searches and had 10 warnings given out at the moment. I think they've still got a few more to find and add on. So all in all, I think it's been quite a successful day, and everyone's seen us here, so hopefully the criminals will know that we've been here, and it might deter them from coming again, hopefully.
Back at the station, PC's Ford and Gardner wait to book the suspected dealer in.
The ones wrapped up in white will probably be crack cocaine. You can tell that because the buyers will come up and go, I'll have 1 white and 1 brown, okay? And so the white is normally wrapped in white, and it's an irregular shape as well. You see the irregular shape, because it's baked. You see, crack cocaine is baked into sort of blocks and they chip off bits, and then the heroin is just sort of not like that, and that's why it's slightly rounder and wrapped in a different colour. So that's what we think. Can't prove it until we send it to the lab, though. And that's all the money we found on him that he apparently got for selling cars. I mean, washing cars. I do apologise. Washing cars. Washed a few cars, I think. Washed a few cars.
Coming up, the drug squad move in for the kill.
It's a stop.
Failed to stop, but failed to escape. And a suspected shoplifter sees red.
You stinking nutcase!
It's a big day for the drug squad. They're in a briefing for a surveillance operation on an address they believe is linked to the supply and packaging of Class A drugs.
The intent of the operation is obviously to arrest the subjects, identify and disrupt this organisation, because we think if we take any of these dealers out, it's going to have a massive effect in the borough.
Our aims day in, day out are to get to the main dealers, absolutely. Not always easy, depends on the quality of the information and the intelligence that we receive.
Get financial assets which hurts these people. If we can do that, fantastic. Recover Class A drugs, recover financial assets, and obviously look at where all the drugs are coming from, what the sources of drugs are coming from. Yes,
the gathering of intelligence is key to the drug squad's operation.
The way they'll operate is by a number of methods. Firstly, if we get information or intelligence in from the public, we'll develop that. We'll do surveillance on the addresses, surveillances on the drug dealers. Or alternatively, we have criminal informants, and these are really good for us. because they are actually amongst the criminal fraternity and they will tell us exactly where drugs are to be found and what's going on. We'll work with what the informants tell us, always with the intent of catching people dealing Class A drugs, with the ultimate goal to providing the evidence to send them to prison for as long as possible.
It's possible for other intelligence, other drug dealers to go to the addresses. If another person goes with a package or a bag to the address, we identify a vehicle they've taken, then we'll do intelligence checks, and if we believe it's worth taking the vehicle out, we'll take that vehicle out.
The careful planning of the drug squad is far from the task of the borough's rapid response units. They have to deal with whatever is thrown at them day or night. PC's Matthew Tarrant and Stuart Varnham are on their way to assist with a car that has failed to stop. The occupants have now fled on foot and the police are giving chase.
The vehicle failed to stop for police. It's been it's either stopped or been crashed, and the occupants have decamped. Officers chasing them forward.
The occupants of the car have legged it over a nearby garden wall.
They didn't see him go in, but they saw him go down to the side of this house.
Suddenly, one of the suspects is spotted.
Where's he going?
Got me a suspect, back garden. Do you want the dog down?
Despite being told to stop, the man continues to run. At the surveillance operation, the mood is quieter. The long wait begins, but gathering intelligence is key to breaking down the illegal drugs network.
Yeah, at the moment we're in the Shepherd's Bush area. We've got covert observations on a flat not a million miles from where we're sitting. We're hoping that our targets are going to turn up in a vehicle and go into the address with drugs concealed in a rucksack. Plan is, if that does happen, when the subject comes onto the plot, gets out of his vehicle, goes into the address, we're going to stop him away from the address as he leaves and hopefully catch him in possession of Class A drugs.
Still in hot pursuit of the man running through back gardens, PC Tarrant races round the block to try to cut him off.
Yeah, it's between Cloverdale Road and Lime Grove, on the walls there.
Plainclothes officers are now also in pursuit. Word comes through that one of the men has been caught.
Junction with? So whether we've still got one outstanding, please.
There is still one man on the run.
I see one male, short, dark.
PC Tarrant races to assist in the arrest. An officer on a bike has grabbed the first man as he jumped from the gardens back into the street.
Anything on you, shooter? No, I ain't. I ain't. No, search if you want to do that. Hey, mind my leg, because I'm fucking hurt. Alright, mate, stand still, please.
It appears he's injured his leg in the chase.
Until we've ascertained what's going on, he's detained. Okay, basically that means it gives us the powers to search him, ascertain what he may have drugs on him, he may have something else, he just may have been involved in something that he could be wanted for. So we need to ascertain his details and possibly put him on a live scan machine, which basically checks his fingerprints.
Unfortunately, it looks like his mate has escaped.
You'd have to camp from a car for no reason. It could be involved in anything. It could be burglars, could be drug dealers. Hopefully, open the boot and find a couple of keys of cocaine or something like that. So we'll find out when we get to the car.
The surveillance team have now been observing the suspected drug dealer's flat for over 4 hours.
There haven't been any sightings of our subjects, which is a bit unfortunate. We think there's somebody in though, so we're going to give it another couple of hours to see if any of our subjects turn up. Sometimes these jobs come off and sometimes they don't. The intelligence is particularly good on this job, which is why I'm keen to run with it, to be honest. The sort of people that we're interested in are major players in the sort of work that we do.
But as night falls, there are suddenly signs of activity at the property.
Male AC1, jump from that car and into the address.
A car, unknown to the police, has turned up. This could be a deal or a delivery going down.
Bob, have we got a make or model or partial or colour other? Can you confirm if the person was carrying or not of it? We're interested in the sort of people that are visiting this address, because the intelligence says that the people that go there are having their drugs prepared for them on behalf of the guy that lives there. So I'm quite keen to get this vehicle stopped, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he might be in possession of drugs, which would be really good.
A woman pushing a buggy has also turned up.
I see one female at the address pushing a buggy.
They decide they're going to follow the car when it leaves and stop it. In nearly half of all violent incidents recorded in the UK, the victims believe their aggressors to be under the influence of alcohol. And Hammersmith and Fulham has its fair share of alcohol-related crime. The Rapid Response Unit with PC's James Franklin and Martin Warnes is in for a busy night.
They've called for a van on the hurry up to a prisoner they've arrested, a Tesco Express.
A drunk and hungry shoplifter has helped himself to a sandwich and started eating it in the shop. When challenged by a member of staff, he lashed out.
You nutcase, you stinking nutcase.
Paramedics are already on the scene. He's covered in blood, aggressive and spitting at officers.
Oh, he's been arrested for shoplifting. Basically, he's been kicking off, kicking out, trying to fight us. I don't know how the injury's been incurred. Looks like what we're going to do, we're going to take him to hospital and get him seen.
Leg restraints have to be used for everyone's safety.
Get him under.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put my hands up for eating a bit of chicken because I'm thinking about nothing to eat.
There you go.
I'm homeless. I'm homeless. I've been there for many and many years. Who the fuck are you? Somebody punching my head in and you're fucking laughing because I've asked for a solicitor. Fuck you.
The leg restraints that we put on him just ensure that he can't kick out, keeps his legs restrained together and makes him more controllable.
I don't want you spitting at me, so put your head off. I'm not having you spitting at me, so put your head down.
Officers decide to take him to hospital for attention before bucking him in at the station. But it's not an easy task to get him in the ambulance.
He's handcuffed, and as you can see, he's still being very verbally abusive to us and threatening, and actually racially abusive to the staff.
The surveillance team are now on the move. They're looking to stop the vehicle that has left the address they've been watching.
It's alright, it's behind that one. It's got big fog lights on the back. I can see it.
There's one behind the one.
They believe that the car may contain drugs and they instruct one of their support vehicles to make a stop.
Simon, Chris is with me.
Good. Can you put a stop in?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Yeah, can you put a stop in TSG, please? And it's a stop.
The support team believe one of the occupants could be a drug dealer.
I'm just going to move a bit because he might play up.
After a thorough search, no illegal substances are found. But the drug squad used the opportunity to gather details of the driver and passenger, adding to useful intelligence. The support team let the suspects go without giving them any indication that the drug squad were behind the whole thing. The intelligence gathered today has given DS Rogers more information to get a warrant to kick the door down. But with dangerous dealers, it has to be planned properly and will have to wait for another day.
Back at the office, we can debrief.
On the way to the hospital, the drunk shoplifter's verbal outburst goes on.
Well, basically what we're doing is we're following the ambulance down to hospital. I understand that the man is still being very aggressive and threatening towards the officers in the rear of the ambulance.
I don't want to talk to old wanker like you. You're wanker.
Picked up on the radio mic of the arresting officer, the abuse turns to violence once again.
I want to talk to a top. Will you shut your mouth, you ginger-headed tot of wanker? Come on. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You ain't nowhere.
Tell me something I haven't heard. Give me a blanket. I'm also arresting you for assault police. You don't have to say anything, but my army offence, if you don't mention when questioning something that you're out relying on.
This time the police officers have had enough. He's now been arrested for the second time.
Now that the gentleman has assaulted one of the police officers in the back of the ambulance, which is probably why they stopped back on Shepherd's Bush Green there. We've got blue lights going on the ambulance, so we're going to follow them through.
More reinforcements wait at the hospital, and he's still shouting abuse.
Kicking off in the back of the ambulance, spitting at police, kicking off towards us. Further arrested for assault on police in the back of the ambulance.
I'm a homeless man. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm drunk.
And even the A&E staff nurse comes under verbal attack.
Fuck you. I live in the park. Oh, fuck you. Kiss my ass, you scummy dead.
Not surprisingly, it's a very short visit to A&E.
The hospital have offered to treat him and he's refused treatment. And he started abusing the hospital staff and spitting at them, so the only place for him now is in the police cell until they're sobered up.
We'll just slide him in. We just hang around at the hospital. The hospital consultant's going to write a letter that he's examined his wound and the reasons why he didn't want him in his A&E department.
Coming up, the surveillance is over, the door's going in. Armed with enough intelligence, the cops can now take direct action. The drug squad have had the council flat under surveillance for some time. Now they're going to take a look inside. With backup from the Territorial Support Group, the Hammersmith and Fulham Drug Squad routinely carry out raids like this. It's all part of their relentless campaign against dealers and suppliers. They go in mob-handed. They never know what they're going to find behind the door. There's always a risk.
I've got 19 years service, and every time I get a kick when I go through a door. The adrenaline rush. It's difficult to explain, but it still happens now. I suppose it's the unpredictability of what's going to be behind the door, because you never know. You can do all the planning and research and preparation. You don't really know what's going to happen.
It's noon in a normally quiet back street. Fully kitted up, they're going to serve a drugs warrant, and their hopes are high for a significant find. Upstairs, they find the suspect together with a very shocked woman and baby.
Clear downstairs. Downstairs, clear!
Right, everyone else, drop back. If we're happy and the ground floor's been cleared.
Yeah.
Right, excellent.
We've done all rooms and the upstairs cupboard.
Lovely job.
The suspect had the balcony covered with CCTV cameras, but DS Rogers went ahead of the raid and covered up the camera lenses.
Really pleased with the entry. The TSG officers were fully kitted up in public order kit in the back of an unmarked van which we turned up in. The reason for that being so that they didn't know that we were coming. I've led the guys up. We've come along to this first floor balcony here. The guys have been held over in that corner there just while I isolated that security camera there. Because that camera was focused on the front door of this address. And as you can see, just outside of this address as well, is another surveillance camera, which is rigged up to a monitor inside the address. The TSG guys have gone in, and he's indicated straight away to some cocaine that's already in the address. Early stages at the moment, but obviously we're going to conduct a thorough search of the ground floor and the upstairs because it's split over 2 floors. And he's also kindly given me the keys to his lockup, which is down there on the ground floor, and there's cars in there as well. So it'll be slow time now, and we'll search both the garage and the address.
We've obviously just taken the address out. We found a screen inside the living room that's divided up into 4, which includes one of these cameras that takes straight along to protect what appears to protect the front of his address. So obviously quite a switched on fella.
Within minutes, Class A drugs have been found.
When we spoke to the occupier inside, straight away he indicated to some cocaine that was downstairs in the kitchen on top of the fridge. We've recovered that, and that's now seized and packaged. Just visually, it looks like about 10 grams worth of crack cocaine, which is quite a result for us.
There you go, Simon.
In the cupboard under the stairs, they hit the jackpot.
It's a hydraulic press, which is all connected and ready to go. You've got the levers there that are going to cause this bit to go down and press onto this bottom plate. So the drugs will be in a bag, and they'll put it in there, apply the pressure, and it will kind of like make it into a small lump in the bag. And if you look closely on here, you can see the traces of white powder, which we're saying is cocaine. So this is why I want this forensicated, to show that he's using this to prepare the drugs.
The months of painstaking work have paid off. The suspect is led away facing very serious charges. A link in the chain of supply of illegal drugs could just have been broken.
These are just a few of the exhibits that we've recovered during the search at the address here. As you can see there, you've got a glass tile with traces of white powder on, which we say he uses to cut the Class A drugs up. And resting on top of that glass plate or glass mirror was a sharp blade, which you can see is in there with traces of white powder, and we'll say that he uses that to cut up the drugs.
And at the end of a long operation, it's left to the drugs dog to finish the job. Coming up on Brit Cops Zero Tolerance of the series. On patrol with the Met Police, some of the most elite crime-fighting squads in the country. We're with the robbery unit as they take on thieves.
I've told you, mate, what's happening. He's now going to go full of police, mate.
And gangs.
Do you know who wears those colours?
We follow the rapid response teams as they put their lives on the line. And take on violent criminals. And we're out with West London's drug squad as they take down the dealers. Our cameras capture all the action as these cops capture the criminals.